Good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave weekly update for gold, silver, and platinum, being recorded on Sunday, March the 30th at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I am going to start here on the monthly chart, which is the maximum amount of data that I have available in gold. And there aren't any real changes to present in terms of the large picture. But I do want to just reference where we are coming up in here and what's getting completed out towards these higher levels, so to speak. So right now, the highest that I can go to with what we're completing here is we're getting ready to uh, eventually get up to a minor third wave. But right now, and that's going to be all a part of this cycle C wave going up. And within that, we're really within a primary third wave out of five. So we'll have five. And within that, we're in the intermediate third wave out of five waves of intermediate degree going up. And within that, we're in the minor third wave. So we're basically in a three of three of three move. And so essentially on towards that resolve, what we're looking for is actually, we can go one more because I can say we're also within a minute third wave of the minor third wave of the intermediate third wave of the primary third wave. So that's why we are just seeing this in constant going to new highs, going to new highs, going to new highs, going to new highs as these waves go up and finish. So what does it really tell us about gold is that there's still a lot of upside left for gold to put in before we see a much larger, stronger, and like on a monthly chart type of a pullback. So we're going to start to see some of the larger ones because as we finish these larger waves going up on the larger degrees, then we're going to be looking for those to move back. But right now, I want to start taking this down so we can see where we are and what we're finishing and what it could mean for an upcoming corrective phase. So essentially, like as we finish third waves, we still have a four and then a five. That'll finish another three. Then we have a four and a five. That finishes another three, etc., coming down. But those fourth wave corrections will increase in size because, as we know, when we're standing and we're looking at a chart and we reach that fifth wave point that may complete, let's say, the minute third wave, then we're looking for a minute fourth wave to come in, and then we're going to be testing it against, well, where should that come down? Well, it should come down to within the fourth wave of one lesser degree, and that's going to be the minuet. So that's kind of how I'm presenting this so that you can see as we move higher, the corrective fourth waves, which are now just all going to be in a series, right? Because we have all the way up, we've got a minute, we've got a minor, we've got an intermediate, and we have a primary third wave all in action. So we're going to be requiring a lot of 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 before we're up to completing that primary third wave and then getting a much larger corrective pattern. And then once we finish the C wave, which is on the cycle degree, whether or not I change that, because by the way, just so I can update myself, there was one comment or someone that has followed my work for a while that actually legitimately questioned why I am only counting this particular move as corrective. And I stated back then saying that, well, within gold or the precious metals, I was learned quite a while ago that we only deal in like a cycle level because those cycles, in other words, if we were in a multiple decades, even centuries of a, a five-wave structure up, well, so like for example, in a super cycle or a grand super cycle, it is possible, but it's not something that I have found workable in terms of deciding where we are within that large of a count. And so, but I am now in discussions. I'm going to be talking with my friend Dan Ascani, who actually has incredible amounts of data in gold and can go back centuries and reconstruct uh, the price of gold. Um, but in any case, I need to work with him to kind of say, okay, well, if we're not going to count it in just series of threes, right, ABCs, whether they're bullish or bearish, well, then where am I in terms of a very long-term count? Where am I if we're going to be counting it as 5 waves up? So in other words, it's like, is this going to be wave one of something? Is this going to be wave two of something? Are we in a third wave building up, even if it's on the cycle degree? So again, I have my own questions, but right now I'm just going to leave it here because it really should not affect where we're going to go for right now. So the ultimate or the penultimate top, whether it's 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 for the price of gold, it's not going to have that much of an effect on right now. So I'm going to stick to how I am counting it, which does allow for still quite a bit of upside to go. So let's dive in. So right now, as you can see, what I'm counting is that a primary degree 5 waves up, an intermediate degree 5 waves up, and a minor degree 5 waves up. And those all, and actually a minute, which all need to resolve in a 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 series of reaching a 3, then putting in a 4 and going to a 5. Again, reaching another 3. So once we do it in the minute degree, we reach a minute wave 3, we come down into 4, we go back up into minute wave 5. That completes minor wave 3. We come down into minor wave 4, go back up into minor wave 5. That completes the intermediate degree third wave. We come down in intermediate fourth wave, go back up into fifth wave. That completes the primary third wave, and so on. So again, each one will build on its own self. Now, coming down off of that, let's go down to the 3-year weekly chart. You're immediately going to see how these are not lined up properly. But I'm not going to go lining them up here because the minute I flip down to a daily chart, they will all be in alignment to go with this particular contract, the June contract. So that's the problem with the futures market, particularly here. I'm not dealing in a cash where the cash price stays the same, but we're dealing in a futures market, and that's what I'm using to produce my Elliott wave counts. And so as the contract rolls, because it's only good through June, and then it rolls out to the next, rolls out to September. Actually, we do have a July, we do have an August. It's like, but as it rolls, it does throw off the price because there's always going to be a premium that you pay, i.e., via interest, for carrying a long position. And you're going to receive short interest if you, again, there is a lot of factors go in under the fact that it's a futures market. Okay, so here on the 3-year weekly, I have what we're finishing up right there. That's minor wave 2. So here we are building on a minor third wave. It's going to consist of 5 waves of minute degree. So here we have minute 1 and 2, and then we're driving ourselves up. We have minuet 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in minuet wave 5. And then within that minuet wave 5, we have 5 waves of sub minuet. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that. And so I feel like we are making good progress. And now we're getting up into our next resistance area to finish up what I'm going to be considering finishing up the minuet fifth wave, which will finish the minute third wave. And then once that third wave is complete, where are we going to be looking for that pullback? Well, we're going to, what is 1 degree, one lesser degree from minute would be the minuet. So we'd be looking for a pullback back down to this area from 28, let's just say 2,800 down to 2,550 or thereabouts. Now, let's just work this through. So that's the 3-year. I'm going to bring it down to the daily, which again, let me go out to the daily 5, the 5-year and the daily. So now you can see they fall back into place. And let me just bring this up. So again, what we're looking at is that here is the minor wave 2. Let me bring it up so we can see it. Oh, come on, machine. The mouse and my Dell don't always work together so well. All right, so we're going to bring that up so I can get inside here. This is a 5-year daily. So we have, here we have minor 1, minor 2, minuet 1, minuet 2, minute 1 and 2. Wow. Minuet 1 and 2, 3, 4, and now we're inside here. And now I'm going to bring it down because I need to get into my 4-hour chart. Still, I'm in alignment. And so I can look inside here to see how is this breaking down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we're very close to finishing the sub minuet wave 5, which will then put the high in for the minuet 5th wave. And that then brings us to that completion point for minute wave 3. Took me a while. So if I go back out here, minute wave 1, so now we're getting ready to finish not only the sub minuet 5th wave, but the minuet 5th wave, which will then finish the minute 3rd wave. Now let's kind of bring this down almost to the daily, and we got to start looking at, nah, that's not going to work. I got to keep it out to the 4-hour chart, because where are we and how are we going to line ourselves up into here? So right now we've broken a lot of the lower level that I had, and now we're up to 1.618 for the minuet wave 5, and we're up to 1.618 for the sub minuet wave 5, and those both come in right at here, which is going to be 31.59 and 31, but let's just say 31.50 to 31.60. And above that, we have the minute 3rd wave. And that kind of, its next level is 2.882. So we've already gone through 1.618, 2.618, etc. And now we're up to here. But that's just to say, if we go beyond these, does not mean that, we're going up to the next level. What it means is that, well, it's extending, yes. And where our next line of defense to complete all the waves comes at the minute degree. So I'm thinking that, yep, our resistant zone is going to be 31, I'm going to say 31.50 to 31.60 to 32.22. So up in here, say 32.20. And I think there's enough pressure on prices to push to these levels. Every time we uptick and make a new high, it is a new all-time high for gold. And that, I think, is extremely impressive because it just begins to continue to reflect on what's happening on a global scale, with the tariff war, with the United States, with our economy, with so many things that are happening that are putting an air of uncertainty around our equity markets, around our interest rate markets, our treasuries, with just the day-to-day functioning of the government. So, as we all know, in gold, the market does not like uncertainty. So, because then there's always going to be that need for safety, for putting dollars, or even if you live outside of the country and you're dealing in euros or you're dealing in whatever currency where you live, you can buy gold likely in that currency, or you're going to use dollars to buy gold or euros to buy gold. And that still would suggest that money will be coming in. With the uncertainty, safety. Where can I put my money is going to be safe against a sudden surge in interest rates or a sudden drop in the equity markets, or, what's going to help me fight inflation and all of these different things. And so, but there's also ways that I think most people don't understand. But there's what happens when the next step comes, which is going to be a period of deflation. And that in and of itself is going to create a lot of havoc. And so, but how does gold trade in a period of deflation? And I'm hoping to get somebody to come on and discuss that with us. And I would do that via a podcast. But back to my count. So right now I am looking even inside here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're in that final push. Now, can it get to 3160? Can it get to 3200? It can. It can. Remember that I've also been talking about that within the fifth waves. And here we are in a fifth wave, and then we're in another fifth wave. And those are all to finish a third wave. So we're in that finishing stage. And that is where, particularly in gold, within fifth waves is where we see a larger extension within it, within the wave. Most of the time, we're going to be looking for that in the third. In gold, we see it many times in the fifth. So three is already pretty big. Wave 5 can outdo that. And wave 5 actually started about 2872, and we say 2870. And we get to 3200. That's a pretty huge run. That's a very large move for a fifth wave. But yet it can happen. So again, what I'm looking for here in gold is for the market to get up and finish the sub-minuet wave 5, which in turn will finish the minuet wave 5, which in turn are going to finish the minute third wave. Then we will be due a correction. And that correction is likely going to find here. This will be the fourth wave of one lesser degree if we're up there finishing up the minute third. We're going to come back to the minuet fourth. And here's that zone. So if we get all the way up to 3,200, we run the risk of a larger correction in gold, bringing us back to, say, 2885 all the way down to 26. And that's going to be quite a shake for a lot of gold, particularly the ones who are piling into it now. But understand that markets do correct. And this one, I think, could be very sudden and just really kick itself off with gold being down $100 or more in a single day. And who knows what can trigger that. We have enough out there that it can definitely trigger. But right now, I think we still have an upside to finish. There are a lot of different ways that you can position yourself if your intent is not to get out of your gold, but you don't necessarily want to be giving back a whole lot of your potential for obviously continued upside, because of after wave 4 we have a whole series of 4s and 5s, and if your goal is to hang on to a longer term position, then you need to maybe position yourself with some downside protection. And that also I can talk about, but I would rather hear from people that they have an interest in that, and then I could do that, set that up a little bit differently. But here again, just an analysis. What I'm looking for now in gold is for the market to run up, make additional new highs. Our resistance is 3150 to 3160. That's the first layer. And then we have a second layer all the way up at 3200 to 3225, I'm going to call it. And from where we are, that would be a 100-point climb for the market, but not saying it can't go up here, come down, and go continue up. This fifth wave can continue to extend. It's done a pretty good job so far. So I would think we're pretty close. And then we start that pullback. Whether it comes from here or here, I would be finishing the sub-minuet wave 5, the minuet wave 5, and minute wave 3. Whether it's here or whether it's here. All right. Let's go over and take a look at silver. Silver continues to be a little bit, and how I would put this, a little bit wacky. Here is the 3-year weekly chart. And you can see we're in a C wave going up, and that C wave is going to consist of 5 waves of minor degree. And we're in that minor fifth wave. Now, where's that third? Well, actually, 1.382 is way up here at 42, which suggests that the market has already gone through the 100%. And you're going to see I was way down here at 35. So that lifts resistance on and the intermediate degree. We could probably put in 1.236. Let's see where that guy comes in. Well, comes in right here at 39. So actually, I'm going to leave that there because they're fib levels. We don't necessarily associate them with the C wave, but we're counting up, not into new highs here in silver, new highs for the sequence, but silver has traded as high as $50 a long time ago. So they're not all-time new highs, but new highs for these sequences. And now let's start taking this down. So we got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't particularly like this, but it's the way the kind of the market has put it together for us. So this particular third wave, not real clean on the minor degree, but still functional and it works. And then we had minor 4, and now we're in that minor fifth wave up to complete. Well, here we're in the we're in the minor fifth wave up, and within that we've got the minute 1 and 2, and we have the minuet 1, 2, and 3. I think we did complete the 3, and we started to come down to work out a fourth wave. Now that was that weekly. Let's go down to the daily. Now we're going to come inside. Here we have 3, 4, 5. There's the minor 3, the minor 4, and now we're in that minor fifth wave up, and then we have 1, 2. So we're still within the minute third wave of minor wave 5, all coming up. This one should be taken off because it got exceeded. So 618 puts us out there to on a minor degree up here, 38. So what I'm looking for here is silver to kind of collect itself and to make a stronger push. Not sure why it gets caught up and it just, when it decides it's going to give it up, gold has continued to move higher and silver will move lower. I think there's other factors involved that I'm not necessarily following, but we've got a lot of strange things happening within this minor fifth wave. Minute minuet wave 2 was an irregular, just did this pump and a drop real quick. And so it got an A, irregular B, and a C. So it was kind of like a strange wave 2. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that's why I put the 3 there. Doesn't mean that this can't be 1, 1, 2, 3, and a small 4. And we come back up in a fifth wave to complete this fifth, which we have that resistance at 35.75 and then 36.50. And both of those can be reached and then start turning the market lower again, but just in a smaller fourth wave. Now, and then I really would just be running it from here. So again, that's what this level is. This level is I'm running just, this actually goes up. So let me see where this guy comes in. Just by itself. And what I did was just ran a separate retracement for this third wave, if that topped the third wave, where our support, if we continue to move lower in silver, should be around 33.90. And then again, that would be a fourth wave. And it's just very strange because here's wave 1, ABC 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come back down to here for wave 4, and then run back up again in a minuet wave 5, which hopefully is going to start to get us to our levels And I need to put one more in. So let me draw this one. And that's just going to give us for that minute wave 3. When you can see, wow. See these waves, they kind of start to get funky. And we want to go here. I want to go to this color. I want to make this in this color. And let me just get that set up real quick. And we're going to go put this all out. And we're actually up here is where we are. So we see we went up through the 1.618, came back down through it. So I'm going to leave it there. Might provide some resistance, but here's what we're looking for. Minute wave 3, once it gets itself back above here, could finish here because it's going to be the actual structure itself. So if wave 3 is not done and we get one more push higher, then I'm going to be looking for like 36, and that could finish the wave 3 here. We do a 4. We still have another one up, and that's now projecting once because we've broken above this. It's the 37.80 up to this level. But again, that level likely be exceeded because if this is going to be a wave 3 and we get up there, we do a wave 4, which will be expected to come back to wherever this ends up and then rise again to put in that 5th wave. So once minor wave 5 is complete, let's go back and take a look. What are we completing after that? We are completing a C wave. And that projects higher, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get anything going coming into all of that. And we can go down here, coming into this. We definitely want to get above all that because here's where we're now moving into for that C wave. It's going to be up here, 39 to, and then we can get much higher. So, and you know what? Silver can actually just turn in and explode in terms of, it also will pick up some value in terms of storehouse of value, but not as strong as gold. But one would think that silver is going to come into play here eventually, but it just hasn't yet. So silver kind of being held back, getting itself even above 35, 36. So, but I'm expecting that it probably should get closer to 38 before we get a stronger pullback. So, but we got still to get done with this 3, go through a 4 and then a 5, and then that's this level. The minute 3, still not in yet. I'm going to take that off again because that's not very helpful. So we're going to do it that way. So we have that. I think even well, we can do one thing. Let me add one thing. What this would look like if we just went through a 2.0. And where is that going to come in? Oh, just here at 36. So there is that possibility as well. I mean, we've just got clusters of resistance, and silver is having a problem getting itself above all of this. But here we go. If we have 1, 2, we're looking for the end of the 3rd. We're looking for the end of this 3rd. We come down a little bit. That'll put in a 4. We go back up in a 5. We can still hold it below 36. Just poke our noses above 36, and that is where wave 3 would be 200% of wave 1. And that works. But we're looking 2.618, that's 37. So depending on how hard we can get a rally going in this particular wave 3, and we get a 4 and a 5 to finish this 3rd. So I think we should get up there before, and then come back down in a 4, go back up in a 5 to finish this. And then that's where we're looking on, possibly up even into here. So there's still upside left. It's just having trouble. And I'm not sure why. And then finally, let's take a look at platinum. Platinum is also an interesting market because it's very seasonal, and we know that the season has finished in terms of producers that actually come into the market, usually within December and January, and they buy futures market. They buy the futures to take care of what their inventory needs might be. And so, right, we saw that here. But if I take this back out, let's go to the 5-year. That shows it more cleanly. You can see that we still have this triangle pattern for an intermediate degree. Wave B is what I'm looking at here. And so we have A, and then we have this elongated. And still within minor wave E, it is also breaking into its own triangle. So we have an E wave triangle within a B wave triangle, still yet to complete. And bringing it down out of there. So we're in the E wave. Let me put it down. A, B, C, D. We're in minute wave E of minor wave E. And we're in the minuet wave C of minute wave E of minor wave E. So we're hopefully getting close to where the market can pick up a rally again. Now, accordingly, which we're still waiting to see, we bring it down to here. Here we see our two triangles. We have the larger in the minor degree, and we also have the smaller within E in the minute degree. And then this is the breakdown of minute wave E. So we have minuet wave A, minuet wave B, and now we're dropping down in 5. And if I had to count this, I'd say 1, 2. Notice how clean. Nice 3 up. On the daily, we're heading lower. And you could run fibs here to here to here to get your support coming down. I prefer to run them from here to here for the whole C wave. So if I'm looking for a 3, we got 924 for likely for the C wave. And then for the whole E wave here, we have 930, 924, 910 to finish down here. And that then hopefully would finish the minor E wave sitting down at the bottom. Once complete, what are we looking for? Thrust up and out of the triangle. And I'm thinking bigger. We have to go back to see because it's going to finish an E wave and that's going to finish a B wave underneath it. And we should get a C wave rally up. But it could still just flounder around in here for a while as it finishes everything all up and then gets prepared to make its move. Internally, if you're more of a short-term trader, these moves are very tradable, but they're unpredictable. Now, if you're looking for the downside, it suddenly just made that move last Thursday and then hit a high and then just dropped. And nobody, I mean, I couldn't tell you. I mean, if I was a platinum dealer, I might be able to tell you what took place, what happened, who came in, who bought up. But again, just as a strict technical analysis, it's still just a part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hopefully that we get down to that 100% or into this zone that'll complete this. All right, that's going to be it for gold, silver, and platinum for today. And again, I'm going to try to keep these up on the weekly basis, particularly in gold, because gold is very active right now as a result of everything that's going on in our world. All right, I'm going to get this posted. So once again, I am considering starting to do a more daily almost update on maybe gold. But it's a lot of work, and I'm already being hard pressed to get a lot of other things done, plus trade for myself. So again, we'll see. But right now, I'll try to keep it to a weekly.